Let's talk about the thumb in the left hand and its position. The thumb lends its strength to the four fingers, most importantly to the baby finger, being the weakest of the fingers. Let's put our hand in first position. And as you can see, my thumb is placed between my index finger and my baby finger, thereby giving the strength of the thumb equally to the baby finger. If I put my thumb in a position like this, it's giving its strength to the already strong index and middle fingers. If I put it in a position like this, the strength of my hand is balanced. Consider this, consider gripping something or squeezing something. If you do that, imagine a tennis ball in your hand, and you grip the tennis ball and you squeeze the tennis ball. When you do that, you'll notice that your thumb is in a position where its strength is equally balanced between the four fingers. All right, now let's consider just an overall healthy position for the thumb and the left hand generally. The thumb is in the middle of the hand and somewhere around the middle of the fretboard. That's not to say that it has to stay there all the time. It will make micro adjustments as we move along. Now, I'd like to give you a few examples of that. If I'm playing a scale, let me just play a C major scale. Take a look at the position of my thumb as I'm playing that scale. You'll notice that my hand is sort of rolling on my thumb. So there's a slight roll of the thumb, and the thumb doesn't move at all, right? Here's something to avoid. Here's a position that you want to avoid. I'll give you two positions that you'll want to avoid. Position one, do not do this. Do not put your hand in a position where the palm of your hand is on the back of the guitar neck. Number one, it's going to drastically shorten the length of your fingers and make it really, really difficult to get onto the points of your fingers. And if you can't get onto the points of your fingers, you're going to be deadening strings that shouldn't be deadened, right? Another position to avoid, generally speaking, is this wrapping of the thumb around the neck like this, which causes the same problem. It shortens your fingers. If I put my thumb in the middle of the neck, roll my hand around to the front, as you can see, the tips of my fingers are right on the face and fretboard of the instrument, right, of the fingerboard, like so. All right. So generally speaking, middle of the fretboard, middle of the neck, right, and middle of the hand. Now, let's move from scales, as I just played a scale, single note line scale, to playing a chord. Let's take a look at a simple chord like E minor. Take a look at the position of my thumb. Now I've made an adjustment, right? And that's fine to make an adjustment like this. You know, and these adjustments will depend on to a degree on the chord you're playing there. So here's my E minor. You can see that the strength of my thumb is sitting behind the two fingers that are playing that fingering those notes. If I move to a C chord, which I'll do now, again my thumb makes a micro adjustment to accommodate that C chord. Let me play another chord. How about a D chord? Thumb stays basically in the same position. G chord, right? In this case, I find myself just moving up a little bit, right? But we're not in a position like this. We're not in a position like this, right? It's always try to get space between your hand and the neck, and keep those fingers, get those fingers right out in front. I'm going to just play a little chord progression, and just as I'm playing the chord progression, just take a look at what my thumb is doing, and that'll probably explain a lot. So you can see, you know, there are minor adjustments being made there, but generally speaking, the position of the thumb stays in this same region. The reason is that again, as I said at the top, the strength of the thumb has to be evenly distributed between the four fingers, and the baby finger being the weakest of those. This will become more and more important as you move forward and move up the fretboard and want to you know, do other you know, technical things like chords up the fretboard and scales up the fretboard and so on. This foundational position will remain the same no matter where you are on the guitar fretboard. So middle of the fretboard, middle of the hand. Avoid this wrapping of the thumb, which just shortens the fingers shortens the ability of the fingers to you know, to get around to the front and play nice clean notes that are not muted. Meaning that I'm sure that you've tried some chords and you end up with results like this. You know, that kind of thing. And that has to do with the position of your thumb. Get the position of your thumb down, middle of the hand, middle of the fretboard. Get the fingers right on their tips, right at the front. And then you'll start to get nice, clean sounds. Also remembering that the position of the thumb has to do with lending the strength of the thumb to the other fingers, and also stay away from this palming of the back of the guitar. Don't play it like this, right? Stay away from that. Keep on the fatty part of your thumb. And you can make those adjustments as necessary when you're moving through chords and or scales.